A few months ago, we celebrated our 54th commencement here at Harding School of Theology in Memphis. We have celebrated a wonderful heritage with a very clear mission that we've been maintaining for a number of years to challenge Christian leaders to deeper faith in God and to higher standards of ministry and scholarship. And that legacy has been built on a lot of great leaders, both at Harding University in Searcy as well as on this campus. On this campus, we've had 4 really excellent deans. I'm in the chapel here at Harding School of Theology, and on the back wall we have the pictures of all 4 of our deans, beginning with W.B. West and Harold Hazelip, Philip Slate, and our 4th dean, Dr. Bill Flatt. This video is to introduce to you and share with you some of the reasons that we are wanting to honor Dr. Bill Flatt with a special endowment this year, the Flatt Ministry of Counseling Endowment. Dr. Flatt served for this school for 29 years. He retired in 1999 after serving in a number of capacities as registrar, as recruiter, as a counseling professor, and then the last 7 years as dean.
It's my privilege to offer congratulations to Dr. Bill Flatt on receiving this high honor from the graduate school and from your colleagues. It was my great privilege to work, Bill, with you for a number of years as you served as registrar and later as dean from 1970 until 1999 at the graduate school. I loved working with you. I believed you were an excellent teacher. Your students loved you, and it was a joy to be able to work with you in every respect as you were dean, in particular, of the graduate school program. You were an outstanding fundraiser. You were very careful of scarce resources. You were very involved in student recruitment, and you were a joy to work with. I am delighted that you're being honored this evening, and hope that you fully realize how much people love you in so many different areas. From your teaching, from your counseling, from your administration. You've been a great blessing to the Lord's Church and a great blessing to the Graduate School of Religion in Memphis.
Bill and I are almost related. His family and the Birdwell family, my mother's family, grew up in the same holler in Jackson County, Tennessee. And his Aunt Lily married my grandfather's brother. So that sounds like Middle Tennessee talk for we're related. A couple of special memories I have of Bill Flatt. One is when Ann and I were living in Marks, Mississippi. I was still at the graduate school. We were newlyweds, and I was preaching for the little church there in town. We were about 35 in number in a small Mississippi Delta town. And he came down and did his mental health and the Bible workshop for us. And I've always felt that that church was better known, more respected, and better understood after that workshop than we ever were before. He came and he presented his workshop, and he obviously had good training. He knew what he was doing. But he presented what he presented with his typical gentle, humble style, and in a very disarming way, I think caused the community to fall in love with him. And I've always been so very thankful for that experience with Bill Flatt. The other experience I think of is in 1985 when Ann and I had been in Africa for about 15 months, and we returned. And it was ahead of time, and we were pretty bruised and broken at that time. And Bill Flatt was so helpful and so encouraging and so instrumental in helping us pull the pieces of our lives back together and to launch a new dream in our lives. And Ann and I have been thankful for that for the rest of our lives.
When I see the picture of Dr. Flatt, a lot of memories come to mind. One is the first time I ever talked to him. I was a senior at Harding and Searcy, the first year he started working here as registrar. He called to invite me to consider coming here for graduate work. After he called me a few times and W.B. West called me a few times, I decided to come, and it was a very good decision. One of the legacies that I think Bill has felt the best about of the work he did here was helping us get ATS accrediting. We were the first school in the Churches of Christ to be accredited with the Association of Theological Schools in 1997. And prior to that, for several years, it involved self-study and a lot of work that Bill provided the leadership for to help us get that accrediting. Since then, a number of schools have been able to get their accrediting as well through ATS. Second thing I've really appreciated about Bill, certainly after being dean myself for over a decade, is the balance he was able to keep between his teaching and his administrative work and his family and his counseling practice, and yet he seemed to enjoy every day and could play his harmonica. That balance is something that I think has also been a good legacy of Bill Flatt, for which we're very grateful.
Enrolled in the graduate school in 1958, and after being there a year preaching in Mississippi, I was able to finish that thesis and graduate in the first graduating class in Memphis. And after that, I did a couple of other degrees, moved away from the country, and came back, thanks to Harold Hazelip, in 1973. And when I came back, there was Bill Flatt. Bill Flatt became a good friend. I was able to observe Bill on a lot of occasions. And we worked together, in fact, in the beginning of the Ross Road Church. And I found that he was there, as in school, a very, very conscientious individual. Bill, you've always been diligent in what you set out to do. You kind of stick to it. The fact that you stayed at Harding Graduate School for all those years is a tribute to your steadiness. My career wasn't quite that way. I hopped here and there, but you were steady, and I always appreciated that in you. And whenever it came to time of need, you were always there to help, and that meant so much to me. Bill, it was always good to work with you at the Ross Road Church. You were always a friend, and I appreciate that. And I think of you first and foremost as a friend. And I want to thank you tonight for that friendship. It is eternal.
I'm Leanne Braddock, and Dr. Bill Flatt was one of my professors here at Harding Graduate School. Before I came to Harding, a friend of mine asked me, are you going to be a secular counselor that graduated from a Christian school, or are you going to be a Christian counselor? And I said, well, ask me again when I graduate. That was something that I kept in mind the whole time I was attending Harding. And definitely Dr. Bill Flatt is a Christian counselor, and modeled that to all of us in his teaching, as well as when he was my clinical supervisor. And he's also a really great harmonica player. We every now and then, when we were doing counseling supervision, he would play his harmonica. So one time for his birthday, I learned how to play O Susanna on the harmonica for him. But he has a lighthearted spirit, but he is also very serious about serving the Lord in every way he can. I know that there is not a day that goes by that I don't use or think about something that I learned here at Harding, and often it's something that Dr. Flatt taught. He has had a great influence on my counseling as well as on my life.
It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Bill Flatt. Bill was born in Jackson County and grew up there, and in Putnam County, where he went to school at Baxter Seminary. He was born and grew up in the Great Depression. He met his wife, Louise Dyer, at Baxter Seminary. Now, the Flatt name was an icon in Jackson County, and by icon I mean a model for other people. And the Dyer name was an icon in Putnam County. So these two icons got together, and they've been together now for over 56 years. I consider it a great privilege to be a friend of Bill and Louise Flatt, and I thank you very much.
My phone rang sometime during the winter of 1966-67 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The voice on the other end was Bill Flatt. He was administrative assistant to Dean West at Harding Graduate School, and asked when I'd be completing my work and what the major I'd followed was. And it all led to an interview and to 19 wonderful years. And I give Bill a lot of credit for that because it was such a receptive offering that he made to me. Since that time, we've had a wonderful relationship. Bill is the kind of person one admires and can enjoy spending time with, and can appreciate the work he's doing as well. There are two or three words that pop into my mind when I think about Bill. One of them is integrity. A person you could absolutely trust. Confidence would be kept. You never had to worry about his saying anything to someone else about you that he wouldn't say to you. He was open and direct when there was something that I needed to know that might even be critical of me. But just in whatever way I would measure him, he was a person of integrity. Second word is family. I've really enjoyed hearing Bill make counseling lectures where he would tell stories of his neighborhood. Must have been much like my neighborhood in rural Kentucky, because he knew these characters who were colorful. He was related to many of them, but I could tell from that and from his love for Louise and their children that he was a person with deep family relationships. And the other word would be just caring. Maybe counseling would be better, but he cared about the students. He cared about the person he was trying to recruit. He cared about the student who wasn't finishing as he or she should. He just cared about people who had needs of whatever sort. And Bill, I just wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to say congratulations on such a well carried through ministry, and on the point to which you've arrived tonight, where you can still enjoy the love and friendship of others with whom you serve the Lord. I thank God for you.
Annie Mae and I were awakened by Jane Thomason on the telephone at about 4 o'clock in the morning, saying that the mansion was on fire. And so we promptly pulled our clothes on over our night's things and got in the car, and they came over. As we came down Cherry Road, I remarked, all of my life's work is in that building. And Annie Mae remarked, your life's work is not in that building, your life's work is in the students that you have taught. The next problem was, how are we going to operate without the building and keep the school open? So Bill Flatt was able to agree to the proposal that I take a part of the back room of the student building auditorium as my place for this year's time that we were out of the building. And then there were 2 of us in that room for that period of time. But all the rest of the faculty were down in what is the recreation room or the hospitality room at the present time. I had my own problems with getting my office set up there. I didn't spend a lot of time down there, but I can imagine the problems that they had with all of them crammed together in that one room and having to endure each other for a whole year's time before the building finally was repaired. Bill had been somewhat trained by Dr. West before Dr. West retired, and of course benefited from that a great deal. And as my retirement came along, it really was Bill that persuaded me to teach a few courses in retirement, which I appreciate very much.
One of the things Bill had really right on target in his life was first things first. Bill took care of his family, took care of himself, and then there was his ministry. And that's a tough balance to keep. I was on the phone with Bill just today. He was calling, looking for a referral for someone here in the Memphis area. Bill is still helping and caring for people. Even though he's retired, people still go to Bill for advice. Years ago, I was a student of Bill's, and he gave me the confidence that I could be a counselor. He encouraged me, and he encouraged many, many other students through the years. I'm excited about the new counseling degree here. Our Master's in Ministerial Counseling that starts in the fall of 2013 builds upon the foundation that Dr. Flatt laid here in the school with solid counseling skills and the blending of Scripture. This degree will appeal particularly to ministers, church leaders, elders, folks who want to be competent in what they have to offer people in caring skills, bringing Scripture and solid counseling to the pain and hurts of their lives. I would like to offer my congratulations to Dr. Flatt for a wonderful career and his leadership here at Harding School of Theology. Bill, for what you've done for the church, what you've done for the counseling profession here in the state of Tennessee, and what you've done for the lives of so many students through the years, I thank you.
I'm very happy that Bill and Louise Flatt are going to be honored by this video, by the dinner that's being held in their honor, and also by the scholarship fund in their name. And I think it's certainly deserved. Bill, you've probably heard me say on different occasions that it isn't people who come and stay a year or two or three that build a great institution, but those who come and stay and give their lives to do so. And that's what you and Louise have done, and we are very grateful to you for it. You know, I think the reason why you were so successful is because you loved God, you loved your subject matter, and you loved the students. That showed up when you were teaching, and also as an administrator, as our registrar and as our dean for some 29 years altogether. We thank you for giving your life in service to the Lord and to Harding. And now, in your retirement, we hope that as you're continuing to serve God, that He will bless you and your family and make you still to be fruitful in the years that are remaining. Thank you, Bill and Louise, for all that you've done for us and for God's kingdom.
I'm so honored to be the grandson of Bill Flatt, my papa, and the grandson of Louise Flatt, my meemaw. I think that I've really had a unique opportunity that a lot of people don't have to have been so close to my grandparents. Growing up in the same city as meemaw and papa, I got the opportunity to spend a lot of time with them, riding around the house, riding around the yard in the tractor, walking around the house with meemaw, watching television, watching sports with Papa, reading the Bible together. I think that a lot of their influence has made a big difference in who I am today, has taught me what it means to love and be loved, the importance of family. Papa has done just an incredible job of teaching me what it means to be a member of a family, to respect our heritage, and to love each other. So I just could not be more thankful for the love that I've got from both me, Mom, and Papa, and what that's meant to me and helped mold me to the person that I am. So one of the things that I've learned from Papa is what it means to be a man. I think we live in a culture that gets this wrong so much, that sends a message that being a man is only about how strong you are, how good you are at sports, or maybe how successful you are in business. From Papa, I learned that being a man is also about loving your wife unconditionally, putting emphasis on your family and how you raise your children, and also your connection with God. And that being a man means living a life for something bigger than yourself, and living a life that seeks to honor God and seeks to love a family and leave a legacy. And I just could not be more proud to be in the legacy of Papa and what he's left for all of us. Papa, I just wanted to thank you for what you have meant to me and what you've meant to my life. Almost every day I think about what you have done for me and the way that you lived your life, and it's made a difference in the way that I want to live my life, from the emphasis that you've put on faith, to the emphasis that you put on education, to the way that you have loved and sacrificed for our family. I just appreciate so much who you are and what you've stood for. And I want you to know that the legacy and heritage that you have established and built for our family is something that I care very deeply about, and something that I'm committed to passing on to the next generation.